wait a little bit because the start always seems to cut off. Maybe I need to put countdowns on or something like that, but quite often I get a few sentences in, and if I do go and look at the replay for some reason, quite often notice that the first minute or two just don't exist. So I'll just waffle on here for a bit. I will welcome in anybody that watches live now and anyone that's going to watch the replay. And yeah, grateful to anyone that is a subscriber that has, over this long haul period of time, made it possible so that I can go live. But it probably means the quality of how I present things has dropped as well, because I used to record things that were 20 to 40 minutes long. Sometimes, if I wasn't happy with them, if I made a mistake because I wasn't editing, I would just scrap it and give it another go. I'd re-record it, and then, it would take a few hours to upload. But usually it meant that I presented something that I was a lot happier with because it was more succinct, got in a real flow, I wasn't getting distracted. But at the same time, it is always, it's pleasant, isn't it, to have someone there to sit and talk to, even though I always felt when I was recording videos that I was just sitting and talking to you anyway. So anywho, we'll just see if anyone turns up, but that's probably enough waffle. And what I wanted to do today is look at some terms, some terms that describe how people communicate in media, how people communicate in social media, how people communicate online, and look at what they mean, and then look and see. And it's just for people to have that reflection about, okay, what have I been watching? Who am I following? What are they saying and why? What is this doing to me? Is this making me feel a certain way? Is this changing my beliefs, and so therefore my value system changes? If we change our value system, sometimes we can find that we feel quite, excluded from society, but agreements on our human values are what makes the law work. And I think, though, there is a section of people, a culture of people, a group of people, the conspiracy theorists mainly, that do want to feel separate and different and unique and special, okay? And that's how they feel when they take on board other belief systems, other people's belief systems, and create their own and keep spreading it. But anyway, let's get stuck in. The reason why I've been inspired to make this particular video, this live, is there was a person who started uploading March 2022, who I have left absolutely alone since, commenting on her first video, right? Because, okay, it's not my bag, I've said my piece. Some people might think, well, Humanimal just makes a go of just commenting, picking on everything that anybody says, and it's just, that's just my modus operandi. Well, it's actually not. I don't really care, but I do like to correct things. And when I see people acting in a certain way, and I know that it is, let's say, mischievous, just to be kind, I do speak up. So I've left this bird alone for a year and a half. She came onto YouTube, and this, guys, she's probably got other channels. She might be on she's probably on other platforms, she's probably had other accounts, but this time, kind of sounded like her, and this time I'm the psychic sleuth, and I am going to uncover unsolved crimes. Yeah, so the psychic sleuth is how she promoted herself. This was her first video. She was, I commented, well, it doesn't seem like you're doing any sleuthing. She calls herself an intuitive. Now, if that's your bag, right? But she had someone in her ear called Ramiro who has since deleted every single comment. I have a feeling that was Robert Lindsay. Robert Lindsay used to going around inspiring people to jump on board with his scenarios. Psychic Sleuth's first Delphi video was kind of, well, I was going to get into that later. She calls herself Unsolved Crimes Uncovered now. And when I saw these repeaters making comments about, well, Richard Allen was parking at the farm insurance bureau. There's a different building. He was right in town. Yeah, I had to go and seek out the source because this was just so compelling. Howdy, Mark Klein. How are you? It's raining here. So I had to go and find the source, and yeah, what do you know? Oh, this channel's a little familiar. Yeah, this woman used to call herself the Psychic Sleuth, and she's got a little series of repeaters going out saying, well, how do you know he parked at the child building? He parked in town. He was right in town. He wasn't trying to hide. She's even going against what she was saying 2 months ago about Rick Allen being the guy, and she sees him as, a serial killer and, very subversive character. But anyway, I'm glad you're well, Mark. Anyway, this is not I'm not speaking very clearly. This wasn't how I didn't intend to speak about her right now. I'm going to start off reading out these definitions, okay? I've written down some definitions that I want people to ponder. Misinformation. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive. Now, this is similar to disinformation. Disinformation is false information which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda issued by a government organization to rival power or the media. In true crime, we're usually dealing with misinformation. It's released from a source, isn't it? And then it's just spread. Echo chamber, because often misinformation is bounced around in echo chambers. An echo chamber is an environment where a person only encounters information or opinions that reflect and reinforce his or her own opinions. Because sound is reverberating in a hollow space. Echo chambers are filled with yes men. Yes men agree to receive approval. I don't want anyone just agreeing with me just to receive silly approval from a nobody from Australia, right? If you disagree and you're rational about it, I'm definitely going to listen. You might even change my mind. But a lot of people are in echo chambers and they become yes men. Hey, Johnny. People want to belong. This is why people follow sports teams. This is why they belong to denominational churches and go to a church. This is why they join neighborhood community groups. This is why they go and sing in choirs, for this connection and this belonging and being the same and being accepted, being seen, being heard. And not everybody tapping into true crime are just, isolated people or vulnerable people, but there are a lot of people that are, and there are people that are coming in for all sorts of reasons. They've got all sorts of mental capacity. People sometimes act quite retarded, and that is a technical term, not a slur, just like moron, idiot. They can equate, I mean, they're antiquated, but they can equate to various intelligence quotient scores. Not that we even use IQ these days, okay? But people can be totally retarded, and often they become these yes men. Oh, wow, you're so amazing. What a brilliant idea. Yes. And then they believe it. All it takes is this person, for example, the psychic sleuth. The psychic sleuth, she's known to take that out of her name, right? She's rebranded, uncovered, unsolved crimes uncovered or something. They just put it out there. They don't even have to give you a well-rounded piece of information. They don't have to fact check it. It's not evidence-based, but if they say it convincingly enough, there are the repeaters. And yeah, I had to just trace this farm insurance building bullshit to its source, and lo, Miss Psychic Sleuth. So yeah, people want to be part of something. That's fair enough, okay? But what are they sacrificing about themselves for it? Anyway, anywho, opinion. An opinion is a view or a judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. Well, that's my opinion. You've got expert opinion. Okay, now that's a statement of advice by an expert, a professional in a field who has actual learned knowledge. Hi, Raphael. A Vegemite sandwich, yeah. Look, there are tricks to a Vegemite sandwich. A good one, you must have soft, white, fluffy bread, thick sliced, real butter, spread very evenly, not too much. I prefer Marmite, but if you like Vegemite, and then you don't spread it, you dab it. So there you go. So a repeater. Now, a repeater is a term that I've coined for the people that go out and just, regurgitate into comments. They flood comments. They find any video they can talking about their subject, and they take their newest thing or something that they've read or heard from wherever, it doesn't matter, Reddit, but usually a YouTube video, and they just go and throw it in the comment as if it's fact. They haven't checked other sources. They just believe it because they believe the person. So what did I write? So repeater. This is the term I use to describe the people who go out and recite what they've heard or read as if it is the gospel, and they often vehemently push it as truth, whether it is misinformation or opinion or something else. They seek no further source. Okay? It just sounded like the right term. A repeater, people might know, a repeater is a network device. It retransmits a received signal with more power and an extended geographical and topographical network boundary. Okay, so then the original source would be able to, would be capable of reaching. Okay, so they are amplifying that original signal, and that's what repeaters do. Okay, so someone might be digging psychic sleuth type fodder. Okay, go for it. So she's just reaching her audience that have initially tapped in because of the woo-woo and because of the way she presents and everything, and she's reaching her audience. But what happens is these repeaters, they go out and they just blah, blah, blah. And, there are people there like sponges. If something taps into a belief that they've got simmering away, now we'll talk about beliefs soon. But, you know, if they connect with it, or it captures their emotion, it captures their attention, their interest, well, they run with it. And then it's going out and it's reaching more of an audience, isn't it? A repeater, interestingly, in law is a recidivist, right? So just this repeat offender criminal who goes out and just commits the same crime over and over again. They are charged and found guilty, they go to jail, they get out and they do it again. A recidivist, also known as a repeater. Post-truth. So post-truth, what's this? Because are we dealing with truth or are we dealing with post-truth? Post-truth is relating to or denoting circumstances in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. You know, so can we find reliable information in these post-truth times? Because we are living in a post-truth time. What seems to be more important these days to anyone that is giving opinion and, you know, being a commentator. I'm a commentator. I'm a response video channel, I guess. It's not all I do, but, you know, we live in post-truth times where people know how to tap into you by using emotion. Okay, look at the propaganda type videos, especially one particular video that we have now. Groundswell, hashtag groundswell. Okay, for this, you know, gonna charge the courtroom on the 27th of November and, you know, for Richard Allen and against Judge Gull, right? The fucking nerve of people to bully a judge with very difficult position, whose role is to judge, okay, to make rulings, to make decisions. She's not her own fucking secretary. She's not her own administrative clerk. She's relying on people to do things like to make transcripts, upload data, keep records, okay? The nerve of these people. But anyway, I'm starting to talk like psychics. Relax. You know, it's propaganda. I'm sorry about the noise. It's propaganda. It's rousing music. Da, 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 da. And you know, the visions of soldiers marching. But do you know what else you see when you've got these people superimposed making speeches over these rousing scenes with the rousing music? Hey? Yeah. It's propaganda. It's there to suck you in. Okay? Objective. So the adjective objective of a person and their judgment. Okay, so not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering or representing fact. Objective, the noun. A thing aimed at or sought. A goal. The system obtained. It's subjective. Okay, so you know you've got an objective. What's your objective? To manipulate the crowd, or just to have them behind me, power and control, to feel really special, to get a little kick out of all the feedback and all the repeating. Who knows? But anyway, objective. It is not being influenced by personal feelings. If only I could pause alive. Okay. Johnny says, interesting. Humanimal, they're saying now in the USA that Trump is starting to talk like Hitler. I don't think he is. Well, you can tell me the clips to look up. I don't think he's starting to talk like Hitler. Trump has always had a very specific way of communicating, very direct, very casual, very, even though he sometimes, it sounds like nonsense sometimes, but no, he's very direct. People understand him quite instantly. A lot of different people. He doesn't try to, he's not trying to be flowery and tricksy and make these speeches. He's very abrupt, quick to the point. Humanimal's that a ghost? I know. I'm sorry, but it's very frustrating, but it's just how it is at the moment. Hi, not there yet. Yeah, I who thinks Russia, Ukraine would be at war if Trump had remained in power? Okay. Sure, maybe it would have happened, but probably not. So that's objective. What's an objective fact? An objective fact, well, it would be that I just made is 300 calories a slice. An objective fact, a subjective fact would be, oh, this cake is delicious. Well, this cake is very sweet. It's too sweet. Or, yeah, whatever it is, right? But the objective fact is entirely different to a subjective fact. A subjective fact could be nearly fucking anything, all right? Personal belief. It's important to remember too that it's our beliefs that affect our morals, and our values express our morals, and it's human values, and it's the agreement about certain human values that, what our law is based on and how we live in a society, right? And we're expressing these through personality and behavior and character and everything. You've got to really be cautious about people that are manipulating your own beliefs. But anyway, a belief is an idea that a person holds as being true. So it's just an idea that someone thinks is true, like flat earth, or that no one went on the moon, or, whatever you think about these things. A belief can be based on certainties, so mathematical principles, equations, things like that. It can be based on probabilities, okay? A lot of beliefs are based on probabilities, right? Because you've got some knowledge and you've lived a bit of life and you believe something's going to be true. It's a probability. And then other beliefs are based on faith. Belief can come from different sources, including a person's own experiences or experiments. Beliefs are fundamental to a person's interactions in the world. They can be negative, they can be positive, they can be neutral. A belief could be that, people are mostly good. People are mostly bad. Your belief, and where have you got that beliefs from, right? We all know people that sunny outlooks and then people that are very cynical, right? And that's a belief system. It doesn't mean that what they believe is entirely true. That's just their experience, maybe. It doesn't mean that they are now the filter with which you should, that everything should be run through, and then you should just take on their beliefs, right? Beliefs can be conscious or unconscious, behavioral, rational, fixed. Okay. It's regardless of evidence. You can have a belief regardless of evidence. And when you've got beliefs versus values, okay, we can choose whether to accept beliefs prescribed to us. We can decide if our values align with the environment that we're finding ourselves in, right? So with the channel that you end up watching, that particular subset of a community that you're involved in, online maybe, you know. And, you know, our outlook is changed by, you know, maybe growing up in a small town versus a city. But, you know, beliefs are assumptions. They can be assumptions. And our values are really where all the worth is, okay? Not there yet. It says the Illinois governor has given $160 million of the state taxpayers' money for illegal immigrants who are requesting warmer weather. This makes no sense other than entitlement. You know, look at what happens at other borders, right? Try and cross a border somewhere and see if you don't get shot. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah, and it's true. People do sometimes, you know, have a right to say, well, why can an immigrant come in and get free education and free housing and I'm homeless or I'm in poverty? It happens. That's a big one. Values are a big one, Mel. Yeah. What I'm doing, Mel, is just running through some terms, okay? Terms that we could use to try to describe true crime information, videos, our beliefs, things like that. Misinformation, disinformation, echo chambers, opinion, repeaters, post-truth, objectives, objectivity, personal beliefs, you know, and sometimes our values are degraded or changed up by other people's belief systems that we're taking on. And I find it very distressing because there's a lot of very manipulative, power-hungry people that present as something. They present something, but they're presenting an image. What they're getting out of things are very personal to themselves. And it's a shame when they make very convincing videos and people just go out and repeat it. Narrative, a spoken or written account of connected events. Okay, so we all talk about narratives all the time, right? It's a story, okay, and the purpose is to tell a story. The story can be fact or fiction. It's got plot, it's got characters, it's got location, you know, setting. We all talk about things being doctored. So many things can be doctored. Narratives can be doctored. It basically means when you doctor something, right, you know, you can poison it. That would be doctored if someone had put something in my water. And it's the same thing. You can get poisoned narratives as well. Intentionally altered or manipulated in some way to mislead or deceive people. They change key details. You can, doctored information is where you're just omitting details. Now there's a big fuss about, the prosecution has omitted things. Well, we don't actually really know that, but I'll tell you who did omit things is the defense. They omitted big time in their Frank's motion, but what are they calling the Odin? In the Odin something. It's got this whole word term now. things are fabricated. They fabricate events. They take things out of context, okay? So it involves subversion and nefarious elements, planting theories. There's always this emotional appeal. It turns into conspiratorial theories. There's political manipulation. And, there's a lot of appeal to people's bias and people's belief. Must be really frustrating not there yet, I think a lot of states, a lot of territories, deal with concerns over where are the funds going and how is it being spent. And it's quite appalling, really, that health and education can't get the funding required, and that a lot of areas have people and children under the poverty line, and so much money is spent on all sorts of weapons. Look, it is extremely difficult to be entirely unbiased. Everybody has bias. Not there yet, says she's triggered. Don't worry, we're all triggered over here, just about different things at different times, I guess. Excuse me. What else did I write down? Okay, a false narrative happens because people have insufficient information and make an inaccurate assessment. A version of events, while partly true, which is shaped, by newspapers, by social media, commentators, etc. They elicit a strong negative emotion. They elicit, anger, fear, disgust, okay? And these things really linger in public discourse, right? And it's very difficult to change people's minds when you are triggering really strong negative emotions like anger, okay? And, what happens is, so over time, because it's so repeated, because there's so much emotion, these things solidify into accepted truths. They become these accepted truths. They're not true. And, this body of knowledge gets built up over time. And the materials that people are cross-referencing are actually tainted, bastardized, false as well. It's just all the same information. They're going back to the source of the misinformation or following the repeaters around, and it's, it's always the way that, just like with how I've been trying to reach people about this ridiculous thing about the farm insurance building, well, guess what? Too late, too bad. Any corrected version or anything that might sound a bit more rational or be speaking to evidence or truth, too bad, because it's going to not reach the audience. You're not going to break through. You're going to get poo-pooed. You might even get deleted or blocked. You just can't. You can't beat that groundswell, we say, of that false narrative. Oops, too late. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, we always get the lesser audience. Oh, hi, Brenda. Sorry, I didn't see you there. It's not like my chat rolls, is it? But I did miss you. Hi, Brenda. So the information landscape, okay, so fake and false info crowds out reliable info, usually due to what I call the repeaters. It's very hard to counteract this, but if you have the desire to do it, please keep trying. Or if you see something before you repeat it, please just check many sources. Make sure it just doesn't sound like that same narrative. It'll be written in a similar way. They sometimes even do cite that original source. Oh, Oh, Ellie, she's amazing. Athesa just says that he parked at the farm insurance building. We're going to talk about that soon. So check many sources, avoid the echo chambers. Um, this is tricky, right? Because experts, they have been predicting that digital tools are going to be used by what they were calling at the time manipulative actors, bad actors, to take advantage of, our need, our desire for answers, to get comfort from hearing things, being told what to think, being given an opinion. I can tell you now, people love an opinion. Cold truth, Mel says, for me lately, I feel like I have to take this hard line to try to mitigate the narrative I see while trying to make sure she's true to herself. I know exactly what you mean about that hard line, right? That's just what I ended up having to do with something completely outside of what we're talking about here now, in a way. Well, it's something completely different, even though there might be parallels, but about what is woman and what is feminism, and what is right for women, right? I had to take that hard line. I've never wanted to be anything anywhere near a TERF sort of thing, right? But because of what was happening, now we are seeing reversal, with men being kept out of women's sport again, fighting after this little pronk that they had in there. But we've still got Amanda's Woman of the Year for some, right? So I had to take this hard line, which is really harmful and hurtful to me personally because of my life. Generation X were the greatest proponents of just anybody just be whatever, whomever. We don't give a shit. And when you have transsexual friends and things like that, it's very hard to say now politically I've been forced into this because of what's happening. Anyway, that is such a digression, but I really know what you mean. It makes you have to be a militant bitch. Just think of it as just fucking hardcore and brave and courageous, because that's what you are, that's what you have to be. And I've taken flack as well in a different case that I followed from the start of it because of my, I'm about due process, due diligence, good police work being the basis. And I have been bullied like nobody's business. But anyway, we keep going, don't we? The information landscape, and, what happens is, people are manipulated and keep reinforcing, things in these echo chambers. And then so the well-meaning actors, you could say, I don't want to say there's good and bad. We should just say, manipulative actors, well-meaning actors. And I'm sure a lot of manipulative actors would put themselves under that label of, oh, but I'm well-meaning. Yeah, no, you're not. You're malicious, insidious, dangerous, deceptive, and dark. So well-meaning actors need to work together against the manipulative actors, okay? We really do. Bad actors, what did I use here? Sly, relentless, sly, changing their rebranding when they see an opportunist. They're very opportunity, they're very opportunistic. Insidious, I said. So better information literacy allows us to judge the veracity of material and eventually, raise the tone of discourse. This is what we've got to do, isn't it? We've got to raise the tone of discourse that we're having. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy true crime and enjoy being part of a community and enjoy discussions, and it doesn't mean that you can't speculate, but we do have to raise this tone and we have to fucking shut down these people with agendas and their repeaters. We've all seen over the years how powerful they are, how loud they are, how hard it is just to stop it. They're everywhere. They're so, because they are the tentacles. And yeah, which, tentacles, as you know, you can chop them off and they practically operate just on their own, don't they? Wriggle, 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 just like a little skinks. Oh, I moved my rubbish bins. I was putting them out and just sort of moved it, and I must have cut a little skink's tail off. The little skinky's all right. I mean, it still must be quite a shock. But, the tail's doing this because it's trying to grab the attention of the predator. Are you guys still here? I'm so sorry. You guys still here? I was just spinning around, spinning around, spinning around, and I had no Wi-Fi. I've lost people now. There's only 3 of you. I hope people come back. Not there yet. Do you want to? Oh, can you write something? Can someone write something? Mark, do you want to write something? Am I here? Am I here now, Cold Truth? Yeah, this is a very bad Wi-Fi area. Thank you. Yeah, in the Idaho 4, look at that woman that, she was, she blamed the university lecturer or something, said that she killed everybody. Anyway, crazy. All right, so we're back. So I had just gotten up to talking about, so we need better information literacy, don't we? We need to be able to counter not counterattack, I don't want to say that, but we need to be able to block all the lies. We need to be able to block propaganda and just keep focusing on highlighting verified fact. People are so fucking sick of me, right? Because they, I'm everywhere. Oh, they must be so sick of me turning up everywhere. But, what I will say is, I do leave people alone, but I will respond where I see fit. As I said in my last live a week or whatever ago, Ivy Rose is very good at, I mean, she just has that tone. She doesn't aggravate people like I do. She's very polite about it. But she's doing the same thing. I don't have her personality, so I'm more, I get pissed off much more easily. But, all I'm trying to do there is verifying highlighted fact and not trying to stop people being themselves, and understand that people like different things, which is why since March 2022, I haven't gone anywhere near the psychic sleuth. Leave her alone. Do your thing then, woman. But she's really pissed me off. Okay. So, and I've said this before about a lot of things because it explains a lot of things, right? And not just when I'm talking in true crime channels, but in other channels as well. Humans were very tribal, okay? And we're also very gullible. We can also be very selfish, and we are sensation seekers, okay? And, with this whole tribal thing, we can put our trust in those who seem very familiar to us, or the most familiar. People can seem familiar because they share or present bias that matches ours. Don't believe everything you hear. Just because someone is putting forth certain theories and things and beliefs doesn't mean they truly believe it. It could be because they're just looking for clicks. That's what it's mostly about. It's what most people want. We put our trust in those things because they are familiar. It really drives our behavior, and people are very adept at using emotion to inspire us, and they inspire and create similar false narratives and go out and create or propagate these conspiracy theories. And it's so far from what actual journalism is supposed to be. And you know, Mark, I think, Mark, maybe not there yet. You've followed Suzanne Morphew's story, and you know, I made a video about Lauren Schaff and her lack of the code of ethics for journalism, how she does not follow it because she wasn't being fair, factual, ethical. Somehow this makes you a Barry lover if you talk about things like that. But hey, what the who? Um, what's happening is that people who act like investigators, we're not. We're not. We're not solving crimes. Occasionally people might help solve crimes. It's so rare. Someone solved their cousin's crime or something, but it's so rare. We're not. We're just commentators. We're viewers. We're watching. We're taking part. Some people are more involved because of location. They're able to advocate or just show support or go and be observers in a different way, a more immediate way because of location. But essentially, very few of us are actual journalists. And I would put it to you that Anya Kane is not an investigative journalist, even though she says she is, but what would I know? There's so much disrespect of Judge Gull. This is putrid, okay? Judge Gull is a woman that is in a position of judging. Her job is to make decisions, is to pass down judgment. Her role is not to be her own little secretary, to be a little administrator, to be a little law clerk. No, she's got staff for that. Positions are filled by people who work for the courts, making notes, uploading data, doing what they're supposed to do. But somehow, oops, Judge Gull, you weren't doing it all. Yeah. A lot is said about freedom of speech as well, and people just talk about, well, I can do this because I've got freedom of speech, that's you can articulate your opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, supposedly, without fear of censorship or legal action. That might be more so the case in America. Things operate differently all over the world. In Australia, freedom of speech is kind of implied. We do have to be a lot more careful, and we have a lot more privacy too. True crime, of course, it is absolutely interesting. It's a perfectly valid pastime, interest. People get very involved, connect to other human beings whom you might feel relate to, or you might just be very interested in psychology. Yay. I'm so sorry about my Wi-Fi. If it happens again, just please just hang in there. It's just very bad at the moment. This is probably stupid girl thoughts, but I don't know if the storms affect it or not. But anyway, I live in an area where I get really bad Wi-Fi. Brenda says she's enjoying the presentation. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I'm getting to where I'm going to try and I'm just trying to sort of just give people some food for thought, and I'm just leading up to something, okay, that I'm going to use as a Carl's doing the best she can. She's a person that's worked hard in a career. She's ambitious, she's successful, and she's got a job to do. Now, personally, look, if it helps the case, or if the Supreme Court says, yeah, sorry, we think there's been just a little bit too much, you're giving yourself a bit much leeway here, girl. You're cutting a few too many corners for the sake of, because you're frustrated. So look, we have to draw the line and follow the letter, and we're bringing in someone else. Fine. I don't care. Personally, I think she's doing a fine job. She's fucking over it. She sees the defense's games for what they are. You can say these things And you can also see that, hey, there's shenanigans everywhere, but we are being manipulated. Okay, we are being told what to think about the prosecution and about the entire thing. You know, how many people have you heard that they want Richard Allen to die in prison? Bet you he will. Yeah, he's going to die in prison. That's what they want. That's it. Yeah. Anywho, okay, so as I was saying, we are gullible, we're tribal. What gives us our strengths, you know, what helps us survive, what helps us be strong, can also help us degrade ourselves and degrade our intellect and degrade how we interact with others. If we get caught up in the wrong things, and if we get caught up in the wrong emotions. And very smart people, they don't actually have to be really intelligent, they just have to be, they have to have this cognitive emotional intelligence. Doesn't mean that they have empathy or good emotions themselves, because let's face it, psychopaths are not always very smart, but they can tap in, and they're very dangerous. Yeah, and that could be a lot of people that you're listening to. So, why do people get caught up in conspiracy theories? And, you know, I'm not saying that Delphi is a conspiracy theory, although, you know, there have been a lot of conspiracy theories along the way, but personality traits, different motivations, because you rely on your intuition. Miss Psychic Sleuth says she's an intuitive. Feeling a sense of antagonism, right? That's something that's powerfully used. A feeling of superiority. Sometimes people are feeling quite disenfranchised in life, and, you know, believing in flat earth or something, it makes them feel smart and special, and it does, and it gives them their hobby, and sometimes it goes beyond that, right? They perceive threats to their environment, you know, to their values, okay? People that get caught up with conspiracies, they're not all, you know, simple, or they're not all, you know, mentally unwell. And we talk a lot here about not stigmatizing, is the word I was looking for, not stigmatizing mental health and, you know, dis-ease in the body and dis-ease in the mind. But, you know, yeah, they're looking to fulfill needs, deprived motivational needs, and make sense of their distress, make sense of their impairment. Yeah, there have been a lot of studies around the world about this, and there was one big study, I can't remember the name of it, but they took over 150 individual studies, which ended up being over 150,000 human beings, to look at what sort of persons involve themselves in conspiracy theories in those groups. You know, it could be people that follow David Icke, that sort of thing. I used to talk about him during COVID. A need to understand and feel safe in their environment, a need to feel like the community they identify with is superior to others, so superior to outsiders, so they want to feel superior, they want to feel safe, so there's probably something that's not making them feel safe. You know, I've talked about this too. What is psychosis? Okay, when you're in a psychotic state, what you are doing is creating another reality to escape a situation, a mindset, something. You're escaping something that is terrifying, okay? Now, psychosis in itself can be scary, but something is in your life you're trying to get away from. And so it's kind of with these conspiracy theorists, it seems. They're driven by a desire to feel unique. Desire to be unique with their beliefs about how the world works. But often they can be antagonistic, paranoid, insecure, emotionally volatile, impulsive, suspicious, withdrawn, manipulative, egocentric, and eccentric. Okay, they won't believe it. Shared psychosis is really scary, starting with folie à deux and upward. Folly a humane race. Yeah, shared psychosis is very terrifying. But, and this isn't just me saying this. This is my studies. This is the study, okay? This is what they all found in common. And some of those things there, they completely understandable, and some of them are quite scary, aren't they? That antagonistic, paranoid, insecure, emotionally volatile, impulsive, suspicious, withdrawn, manipulative, egocentric. I mean, and if you sit and reflect, you can go, yeah, I think that's actually right. So why am I just wanting to talk about what is misinformation? Who might want to be manipulative? Who are these people that just listen to this and then go out and spread it? It's so frustrating, and sometimes it's people that you think should know better, right? But it appears not. So, and it's like they're believing something someone is saying about the town of Delphi, Rick Allen's route, and what might have happened. It's like they can't even look at a map themselves. They just take someone's word for it, take someone's scenario for it. Okay, so this person, they had a particular scenario at the start. Okay, so Ellie of the Psychic Sleuth. So, she had her vision. She was being egged on, I believe, by Robert Lindsay, writing as someone called Romero, but hey, could be wrong, so let's not go there. But she was having the vision, being shown. Now, she was being shown by Libby and Abby, connecting by them. So I said, I find that a little bit repulsive, that you were just talking about how you are in touch with these young girls, and now they're telling you these things, but whatever. So where did I start writing down what she was saying? Because she was compelled to share her visions. This is in March 2022, okay? This is the person that has put out about, this is my little map, because as we all know, I'm not technological, and I don't have, she is saying that he's parked here, the Farm Insurance Building. This is the Farm Bureau Building, the old Farm Bureau Building. This is Rick Allen's house, okay? This is actually where he parked. This is where evidence, his own testimony, says that he parked. But she wants to believe, you to believe that he parked here and sort of, walked past opera houses, courthouses, the pizza place, what else is around there? I think I wrote down a few things that I could remember. Feek Coffee, brick and mortar pub, all down Main Street, the hardware store, the post office, the Mexican grill, a courthouse, all these people. Riley Park, where the majority of people that were on the trails that day were actually at, okay? I can't with that lady myself either, Mel. I can't stand how she talks. I mean, people can't stand how I talk either, but whatever. She's so unnatural. She says that people call her an AI, but I think that's because of the filter and the way she talks. I don't know, but whatever. She wants people to think that she had... So you've got the river, you've got the canal, you've got Deer Creek, you've got Bridge Creek, okay? And you've got Hoosier Heartland, highway, you've got 300, you've got the 450 and the 200s and everything. So because she's found a building, and because she can say that it's got something to do with McClelland, because his father apparently burnt it down, and someone else has found the other Rick Allen in town who had a court case against it. She's saying that, no, how do you know? How do you know he didn't park here? And why would he? Why would an innocent man park here? I mean, 2 months ago, she was saying to another psychic on her channel, which I've only looked up today. I've left her alone. I haven't even watched anything. Can't stomach it. But I was so furious. I went back to find the source of this bananas, this bullshit. And it was her. So I've had a little quick browse. She was saying that, yeah, I'm talking about Alan behind bars. That guy, he's a serial killer. But now she's trying to stick up for him, saying, why would he park in town? Like, this is town here. This is all sort of town here, you guys. Going, why would he park there, because he'd be so visible? Well, why did he name those girls on Freedom Bridge? Why didn't he name the other people that he saw in town? Why didn't he describe them? So her vision, the perpetrator he likes them young, vulnerable, compliant, untouched. He wants to save them from the world, but at the same time he's turned on by them. His focus was on Libby because of the body type, her traits that interested him, the physicality. He decided to go for it. He anyway, right? Even though when he maybe saw her and recognized Libby, and because he knows Derek German somehow, he's unknowingly met him. She said he sees as a game. He's very cocky. She said that in her vision, he wants the credit. But anyway, she was saying. So what was the story? I've gotten my notes all out of hand. Oh, the reason why I thought that Robert Lindsay was in her ear, because Robert Lindsay used to go onto a lot of channels. He tried it with me. He said, you will be a big sensation. You are going to be a huge sensation. Yeah, you should make a video about this. Pat Brown. And in her vision, she thought that he parked at the cemetery, and something about the cemetery or near to the cemetery. She saw dolls, there were teddy bears, sticks, but dolls hanging from trees, a white cross, a white crucifix, a white satanic cross left there. It was a scene where other people had practiced witchcraft. 2 months ago, though, she was saying that, she thought it was Richard Allen. So why would she now want to be not having him walk out of the cemetery or anywhere there, and be sort of standing up for him? Why? I wonder, because is there so much groundswell for people that are just going for this now, that are going for this, I just like to look at the facts, and I'm all for justice and advocacy. No, she's just for clicks and views. You can PayPal her, and you can, look, monetize. I don't give a fuck. Everyone deserves to do whatever. Get money for your channel. But, you can get a coffee. You can pay her for this and that, right? And she's rebranded, and she's going with what she sees as a movement, okay? As if she's completely forgotten her history, right? And a lot of people don't realize the woo-woo side of it. They might be comfortable with that, but do they realize what she's said about other cases, Idaho 4, who she's spoken to? She says she works with law enforcement, maybe because she had Mr. Steve on. Now, Mr. Steve is a nice guy. He's a mumbler. He's nice. And he's done some useful things, and I don't want to diss on him, but, let's face it, he was in Delphi just, while everything was going on with Rick Allen, and it completely passed over him, okay? Anyway, so, sorry, this is very scattered, but, she's had her vision, she's compelled to share. So there's Libby. Libby's saying, help us. Abby's in the background. She's getting the images of sports and school and boys. And they're at the trail and they see a man on a bench. Abby notices him again, and he's following. And she hints, oh, he's creepy. She's muddled up, right? Because we know that the group of girls said that he was a creepy guy. Now, Anna Williams has told us about this. It's filtered through, I believe, from her. But she's attributing it. But this is the vision. She's getting talked to directly by these girls. And Abby says that he was creepy. Okay. Abby considered calling for help, but Libby started recording because they felt vulnerable. She was trembling. BG noticed the phone, but he thought, no worries, I can dispose of it. Libby put the phone in her pocket, and he's saying to them, he grabs them and he says, you're trespassing. He's got his gun and he's got his cuffs. He's got handcuffs, and electrical tape was used. And he binds their wrists with electrical tapes. But before that, maybe, was it before that? She doesn't say. He's scratched and there's DNA under the nails. But here comes Robert Lindsay again. He uses some sort of cleaning solution, so the DNA is degraded. He's cleaned up with cleaning fluid. This is his third offense, she says. Libby was tortured. Abby first, though, was pistol whipped. But Abby's conscious and she's witnessing something happening to Abby, but then Libby is saying, Abby, run! But then Abby is strangled and stabbed, and then he uses his knife at home like a trophy, and then Libby tries to cross the creek and fell in face down. She's hit her face, he's grabbed her leg, the shoe, the current takes the shoe, he strangles her in and out of consciousness. And she says that she's told he's a heavy smoker, he's a heavy drinker, he's drinking whiskey. He went in and out at the cemetery, near it, but not at the entrance. He's on a trail, but not an official trail, maybe a deer trail. There's a cul-de-sac nearby. It's country-style roads, and they are housing around, but he lives. This is the thing. I said, did you do any bloody sleuthing? You call yourself the psychic sleuth. Now Unsolved Crimes Uncovered. But you haven't sleuthed anything because you've had these visions of there's a Shell station near his double-wide trailer that he lives in. But have you tried to sort of look on Google Earth for any of this? Just like with this, she goes, I don't know. There could be a trail somewhere around that he might have entered on. I'm unsure. I'll do some fucking sleuthing. I said to her, yeah, you and TCD, you guys are a great team. She goes, thank you. It's like, yeah. So trail, not an official trail. He sits inside, he's smoking heavily on his sofa, considering everything. He's weird, he's crazy, he's plotting. He's very manipulative. He's 40 or 55 years old, divorcee with a grown daughter. He left items at the scene. Dolls, creepy dolls, hanging from trees, the animal bones hanging from trees, witchcraft, ritual, white crucifix, white cross, something about his hands, satanic star. I just could not be bothered listening properly and taking notes. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to, when I realized who this person was, I had to go and revisit. My comments are still there, funnily enough, but you'll see that there was a Romero writing there. He's disappeared. I think it was Robert Lindsay. She's going, who's Robert Lindsay? So yeah, I just said, you're abusing the girls with saying all this. I mean, it might be helpful. We can all have an imagination. We can all meditate on how something went down. But, it's abhorrent that you are saying that you are a conduit here. And then she'll say things like, oh, God be with you, or, bless you. Christians, Okay, true Christians, they understand this. I'm not saying this is my belief system or anything. I'm saying this is my knowledge about things, about how true Christianity, what that doctrine, what that belief system is. Uh, Psychics, they would say the mediumship, you're not talking to the people. They don't believe that these people aren't there communicating with you. It's always demons. There's, the Enneagram is really infiltrating into this New Age Christianity, and people are using it to really manipulate. Some very dark, horrible people are using it to manipulate people in abusive ways. Yeah, it's really insidious. She says, yeah, my negative comments weren't welcome to her. If I don't believe in psychic phenomenon, I could just fuck off. Yeah, but she was saying something about how he traveled in from a ways away and he'd had to stop at a Shell service station. But she said if she could see it, she would recognize it, she would know. I said, well, what research did you do? Google it. It's like Google Earth. Sorry, I'm really triggered by my own hair and everything. I don't know what to do about my hair or my old face. I just feel so old. I need to cut my hair. I need to go to a hairdresser. I haven't been to a hairdresser for about 4 years. I cut my own hair. I should just get it cut short because, but I'm trying to get it to grow a bit thicker. It all falls out when you get old, and hormones and all sorts of things. It's horrid. It's horrid, I say. Men just become very distinguished looking, I love how men age. Anyway. Oh, well, no, thank you. You are. Oh my God. She says that behind the double trailer, there's a cornfield. Now, there are cornfields around Delphi, I believe. Trying to picture what those fields are. Are they maize? It is agricultural. There's a lot of different things going on in the land in Delphi. But yeah, and she said that she took something from Libby, trophy evidence. But, a lot of people think that Copfax was a fan. Surprise. Yeah, so that's the person. So that's the person that has started this palaver about, oh no, how do you know? How do you know? Because he did say Farm Bureau, and she's often saying it as, no, this is the Farm Bureau building. So, there's West Monroe Street and that main road, the 41, what does it turn into, and on the corner there is a farm insurance building, okay? So there's a farm insurance building right in the heart of Delphi, and you've got all the courthouses, the post office, lots, Main Street runs out. Oh, this is back to front. Main Street runs back out to 300. You've got Riley Park. You've got all the canal parks and everything. But, if he's parked here, she's trying to say, no, how do you know? This is just a beat up. Prosecution and manipulating. He never said he parked over here. Well, so you're saying that on a Monday, when business is going on in town, and when people have come into town to go to the trail, and most of them are hanging around here, and this is a very compact little area, it's just not the way I've drawn it, but this is a main route that everyone's on, and down here and all around here, and this is the CBD of Delphi. You're saying, oh, no, he wasn't trying to hide. He parked here at the Farm Insurance building on West Monroe, and just went along. Well, it's not what he describes. He didn't do it. This is the old Farm Bureau building, and with the route that we think he took, around the back way and not through town. He's gone past it. Maybe it was on his little brain, this perpetrator, if it is Rick Allen, because here's his house. Here's the Farm Bureau building, and it's on the route that he would have taken around to go and park at what is, the child welfare building, the old, what people are saying, abandoned CPS building. The way that he describes walking to the Monon High Bridge and the people that he saw does not fit. Oh, so I parked in town and I walked down. Did I go on East Main Street onto West Main Street? Let me see. Maybe I walked down to Riley Park and went along. Which way did I walk to Freedom Bridge? Oh, and I saw, such and such, and he was walking around. And well, at that time, poor Thomas Skinner was in town and he saw Pat Brown. Okay, but sadly, Thomas Skinner is dead. Now, she's tried to say that Thomas Skinner is 100% the person that took Richard Allen's interview initially on maybe 14th or 15th of February 2017. We don't know that. I don't believe we know that. And sorry, I'm just having a quick flick. We don't know that, okay, but she says that, and then she talks about this building on in Washington and Monroe, and how it was maybe rebuilt or it was destroyed in 2012, and now there's a new building. She doesn't believe that he meant the child welfare building because he meant this other building, and this is just. It's just materially false and misleading. This is troll-like material. She's not saying it in such a way as, oh, and did you guys know that there is actually a farm insurance building? She's telling you, we've got these repeats now. How many channels, how many comment sections, how many live chats have you seen this in now? This is all thanks to Ellie, the psychic sleuth. And it's been taken up by this groundswell, the hashtag groundswell, to, because Rick Allen's innocent and he's going to be killed in prison and all of that. I mean, what? It's so crazy. So, okay, sure, that would fit if she had still been sticking to her guns. Like she's had this psychic vision. Remember, she's psychic and she's been told by the girls. Of course he knew. He knew to change his timeline. Oh, hold on a minute. Killers don't lie. Killers don't lie. They tell the truth, Johnny. So why would Rick Allen change his timeline? Why would he say he was there? Oh, I was there from 12 to 1:30. And it's not like they are trying to say in the second interview that he has tried to say that he's parked at the farm insurance building. No, he's still describing it as here. He's just trying to change the time. Well, why isn't someone else? Why is it the three girls that are describing people like him? Why isn't Betsy describing someone? Why isn't he then saying that he saw different people in town? Why doesn't he describe his walk through town if that's where Richard Allen parked? That would be simples. And he would have come forward very clearly. He's kept completely stum, hasn't he? He hasn't come forward to say, you guys aren't meaning me, are you? Because remember in my interview when I came in, I said I parked by some old building. I was actually in the farm insurance building in town. The one on West Monroe Street? The one that a different Rick Allen has a court case against for something? A different guy? Yeah. So that wasn't me because I parked here. You not think, yeah, right? Crazy. Or he didn't come forward and go, don't go thinking I'm here because remember I was over here. That's what I meant. Oh, it's just so twisted. So twisted. So first she's had these visions. Libby is talking directly to her, and Abby. Abby is here too, but she's really connecting to Libby. That showing not only she's connecting to her, but she's just in the mind of the killer, and she knows that he's gone in and out through the cemetery. Well, that could sort of suit, but she said other things over the course of the time as well. And now this is her thing. But what it is involving are all these things that I wanted to talk to you about, which is the reason why I'm doing it. False or inaccurate information deliberately to deceive. What is someone's motive, right? What is someone's motive? Well, now she's got yes men, repeaters, and they're just taking it as this is, they believe it. They believe it. There's other things she says in her video as well. But, she's hanging a lot on this. And I just wanted to show people in my grumpy old scattered way how this works in true crime, how this information works like this, how this is all it takes is someone making a professional video and having a very particular delivery and using some fact and talking very convincingly, and then off people run. It's so infuriating. And, well, I mean, it's just, if she believed what she was getting, it just shows she's, so fraudulent, right? Because if she believes what she's getting, well, number one, do we think dolls are at the scene? Found at the scene? Do we think there was a white cross? Now, maybe there are other things. Maybe there was these branches, and maybe there was a white cross, and there probably was things taken away. We don't know what was found at Rick Allen's. People talk like they know everything that was found at Rick Allen's or the evidence. They don't. I don't know, but my belief is that there was something very significant. There's something significant. I don't know. Because we get all our evidence after the search. That's when you get access to people for interviews, access to their vehicle, access to their home, right? After an arrest, okay? And that's when most of it is found. So you're not going to have it in the PCA, and prosecution has every legal right, whether you think it's ethical or not, but they've got a legal right to withhold information up until, 2 weeks or a month before a trial date. Well, Brenda, do you remember the blog? What was that blog called, Mel? Robert Lindsay's blog. Do you know who supplied a lot of his information? Julie Melvin. And then he eventually came out and said, "Yeah, 95% of my blog is bullshit." Oh, that would have been in the memorandum, 100%. But no, she knows it. This is how she started out, right? So I'm just using her as an example. This is just an example of what social media is. She's a creator. She's after power and control. She's after clicks. She's after money. Now, she can be just as interested in true crime as anybody else. You're allowed to make money on here. I don't begrudge anyone any of that. Fucking hell. Do what you want. It's up to people to pay. They can. I don't care. It's, but it's a factor. It's interesting, right? People do. They're growing their channel for a reason. And a lot of people, they think about how they can do that. They study analytics. They study what's happening. They study the viewers. And they want to grow and make a scene. And she's been successful at this because she's got over 5,000 viewers, um, you know, and she's got repeaters. She's got her own yes men, okay? So, it's powerful stuff. This is one out of thousands, isn't it? It's just an example. I just wanted to show what people do. They evolve, they change. There's a reason for it. You don't know Ellie. You don't know what she's after. She's after making a success out of her channel. She's going to do that. So how do you do that? Attention, followers, believers. Okay. Oh, the pareidolia. And then remember with Chadwell, the creepy dolls that he liked. I think I did a video on that. But yeah, pareidolia has been a big thing with as above, as below. The hatchet is in Libby's head. She brought up a hatchet, and because was it Daniel Nations, Mel, that was on the trails, used to go on the trails, and it was on the trails in Colorado with a hatchet. She thought there was sort of maybe a hatchet type. I forgot that. Yeah, she mentioned that. Slipped that one in there. I wonder if she'll delete that. I don't know if she'll delete it. I mean, because you can only say she's only, because then she'll say, no, well, it's just my meditations. It's just what intuitively came to me. But, she's saying she was being told, she was being shown. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know if there's been some sort of electrical tape, but yeah, absolutely. If that was correct, there'd be dolls and white crosses, and it would have been a different type of religiosity that was mentioned. But instead, we've got the Odins. Yeah, the pareidolia. First, people latch on to everything, don't they? And they just leave it in their past, leave it in their dust. Just forget how certain I was about that, right? And they still want a way to blame the families. They're still saying Kelsey's screwing with the timeline. I'm just sorry. I'm giving myself a headache. There's just so much. It's just so dense. It's so hard to talk about it in a clear way because there's just so much. It's all in here, and it's so infuriating. But you know what? Why you've got to? This is kind of one of the points I wanted to make. You have to just sit and ask yourself, why would someone want to do that? It's just meddling. It's just she's an opportunist. She's seen an opportunity. She's noticed something, and she's thought, aha. A normal person might go, oh, that's interesting. But I mean, look, there's this sort of farm, there's the farmers this, there's the farm that. This is a rural community that's been around for hundreds of years. They've got a history of agriculture before that really did get shut down, before the furniture industry there got shut down, and now Packers is in there. Oh, she's sitting there a few months ago, on this thing with this other psychic. He's going, yeah, I know nothing about the case, nothing about the area, but I see industry, I see transients, as if we all can't look up and see that there's, the operation there now is Packers, this huge meat plant where there are workers that will be untrackable. And, we know law enforcement went there and took out that pair of boots, don't we? Tom Webster pointed out, Mel says, that Odinite. Yeah, I know. This is so infuriating. So people think that Baldwin and Rosie have shtick. Baldwin has shtick. That's what he is. And he has a team of people that are generally running around picking up after him. Well, fuck, they haven't been able to save him this time. He's been exposed, okay? Bobby Camworth. What do you reckon about Bobby Camworth being Stu Sutcliffe? I'm pretty sure. And then who is Stu Sutcliffe? People have said all sorts of things about him. Yeah, Odinite. The Odinites. It's hilarious. Yeah, the dolls, it's a bit funny not there yet because remember, Robert Lindsay was mostly responsible for this. He really was driving for Pat Brown to be the killer, even to the point where I thought, this guy, this funny guy, his marriages are difficult. He's got these two daughters, you look at him limping, he's left-handed. Yeah. Anyway, but, he really put so much out there in the way that this person has put repeaters out there. Oh, there's things under their coats. Remember at one point it was a piglet, puppies, dolls, cleaning fluid. And you can be convinced that you're seeing all sorts of things. Remember at one point someone was saying, see, you can see. Don't you just see that little glove, fingerless glove coming up? And what's that movement? And I'm going, yeah, it looks like that. Who wears fingerless gloves? Mike Paddy when he's shooting. And then, you've got the pareidolia. You're seeing the bow and arrow. But, it captures everybody, right? But, you can consider it, but do you go out and repeat that really vehemently like these people do until you just believe the next thing and then the next thing? To hell with the damage that you've done. We've got image analysis and detection. Well, have they even bothered trying to compare Rick Allen to Bridge Guy? No, they just keep posthumously going for Ron Logan, What church are you talking about? Not there yet? It's quite a few churches in Delphi, actually. I don't know how many of them would have much of a congregation. TCD likes to talk about the Baptist church that looks right over Allen's, but it's over a highway, over another road. Maybe the pastor lives behind his house or something, I don't know. But yeah, they all, it's the stretching of truth, okay? It's the stretching of truth, these appeals to emotion. It's the mingling in with just enough truth. And we're lazy, okay? We're lazy. We don't go and read the records and do this and that. We're happy to be entertained. And, it's not that true crime. I'm not saying, as I said before, I'm not down on anyone that is involved in true crime as part of their life, because that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. But it's, don't be fucking lazy. And they watch as if it's a soap opera. They watch as if they're watching TV, but it's like interactive, as if they're playing June's Journey or whatever. And it's so fucking sickening. It's so selfish, the way people act, the things they say. A very small church in Illinois, or not in Indiana. We know that there is darkness. We know that people are evil. I completely disagree with that ridiculous Dr. Dorothy Otnell Lewis, who disgraced herself, as I predicted she would on this channel, with Letitia Stout's case. She tries to say that evil is a religious concept, but, I really do think Oh, it's not far from. Oh, do you mean down in Indianapolis, where the Connor Prairie Bridge came from? It's 2 hours away. And you saw some dolls outside a church, and you think that's got to do with Delphi? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I'm just scrolling on my phone just to see what I'm missing. But it's like, so Chadwell had that tattoo. He had gotten that in 2016. Too late, because out it goes, misinformation. Someone's decided to say, look, yeah, that's Libby. Look, he has memorialized this killing on his arm. It's some woman, it's a girl. It could have been his mother for all we know, you know? But we're idiots, right? And then people take it and they repeat it and they don't check it. And it didn't matter how often people like me and others going, oh, we got that in 2016. We can see it in images of him from 2016. It didn't matter, right? It's done. It was done. Yeah. Oh, my word. Oh, I've gotten myself quite worked up, haven't I? Thank you to everyone for dropping in. These lives are always some people can't understand me because I rant, I jump around a lot and everything. I find it very hard to get out. In here, it's like, ooh, everything is just like, it's the holographic universe in there. But I can't, maybe I'm just impatient and I don't communicate it. I tried to write down a few things so I could read out these things so I wouldn't try and sit here and go, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about misinformation and opinion and yeah. So I tried. There could be other actors. There could be other people involved. I can never quite decide on that. My gut, if we were to talk about intuition or gut or, instinct, maybe just, see, sometimes I think I can, I used to do a lot of cold reading of people and things. I try to really not do it. But if you're observant and if you have enough knowledge about things, you can understand quite a lot from someone. I don't, gotta be careful what I say there, but what was I even fucking saying? Oh, now, okay, so with lone wolf versus somebody, I've most often thought that it is a single perpetrator. I don't know if this is Rick Allen or not. Okay, how could I know? But I can see how it could be other people. How would that, working with someone, how would that work? I don't know. Well, burner phones, private lives, people do connect in these ways, definitely in online networks. And, but, how realistic, how often do they come together to do something in physicality and not just be sharing things online and sharing their proclivities where they might actually have some type of anonymity, and they could be from all over the world. How does that happen where people work together? There doesn't seem to be any one person that Rick Allen is sort of tight with in the way that we've got other people that are saying, hi, Deb's True Crime Notebook. You lean towards lone wolf. Yeah, I'm the same. I think I lean that way, but I can't 100% work it out. What I'm trying to work, how does it happen? Because you know, right? And towns know, and law enforcement in those towns know. Those two, you know it, right? Garrett Kurtz, Ashley Garth, Garrett Kurtz, Ashley Garth. They are, those people. They're together. You know them, and they're out there creating havoc together. They are doing drugs together, they're committing crime together, and they're just known, and that's the way it is. And it's like if you said to a law enforcement officer, and okay, and so who are their associates? You would know who the associate is. Rick Allen isn't this person. He and his wife are associates in that way. They are close. She goes to all his activities. She goes to the pool. They are. It's kind of weird. But it could be okay. Is it sweet? Is it sweet? Is it weird or sweet? I've made a codependency video a long time ago, 2 parts, two of the we'll follow up maybe about this, because I think we need to really exercise restraint and give Kathy Allen a breathing space and the benefit of the doubt, even though it is possible that even on some subconscious level she knew. But I've talked about this as from the point of view of a codependent relationship and what roles they would be playing. And I can certainly see how that could be the case here. But, who are his cronies? They're not the people that he's in the pool hall with. He doesn't really seem to be close. He seemed to be pretty quiet and always just with Kathy. They seem to have a nice closeness, like they enjoyed things together, which is lovely. And over 30 years, and they're going on their trekking holidays. They love the great outdoors. You can't tell me that they both didn't enjoy the Delphi trails, the towpaths. They certainly did photograph their daughter on the bridge, even though the picture was posted by Kathy after the murders. Rick Allen's social media really stopped, didn't it? Around that time, he did go stealth, but I don't think anyone in town could say, oh, Rick Allen, oh yeah, Tommy's mate, oh yeah, the guy, he's not that guy. So was it through online networking and that dark proclivity for CSAM, say that he has connected with someone, and that he has connected with someone in real life because they've worked out that they are nearby, and then they do get talking. Do you ever go to the trails and just watch? Do you ever fantasize how easy it might be? That's personally, if it's Alan, that's what I think has happened, is that since 2006, moving there, he's often been on these trails alone, maybe with Kathy, but I think he's thought about it for years. I really do. It could just be an opportunist. Hey, that was from outside of the area, that was there, that, but it just doesn't seem like that, right? And if it's someone else, is the someone else also someone in town? I mean, what a terrible thought for people, right? Because how scary for Nick McClelland's saying, and whatever other bad actors might be involved. It doesn't mean there are. It just means they've got to remain open. This is still an active investigation, I guess, in a way. Although mainly what they'll be focusing on now is we just need to lock this in. But how does that happen? Think about the nasty conspiracy theories, okay? Everybody's involved in town, and they've made this decision, what, for punishment, for sacrifice, for what is it again? To kill, and they've decided on Libby and Abby. How does this just arise, right? That's another thing that the psychic sleuth Miss Ellie Unsolved Crimes Uncovered is alluding to. Look at all these other deaths of children. And she shows a list, but there's a lot of other people on there, and it starts off with the poor Florifor. Yeah, God, so fucking minute. Can't stand her. Because it's more that I hate what she's going to do to people, what she's doing to people, good people who just need to just get hold of their fucking minds and straighten them out. I just can't stand these manipulators who know what they're doing, know how to go about it, know what the result is going to be. I just have no respect for these people. I just don't like this side of human nature. Mel's cousin was friends with Alan. You don't speak to him anymore, otherwise you'd ask him. But if he's friends with my cousin, it tells you a lot. Johnny says, that's freaky. Do you get that? You know, it's hard not to get that feeling that he's already a lone wolf in his life, right? And that Kathy lubricates things for him in a social way and gives him that appearance of that normalcy, just this family guy who likes to play pool and do this and that. You know, he doesn't have that. Just all I can say is from what I've observed, there's a lot of things that have been scrubbed out now, but I do feel like I've, you know, when you just, oh, now I'm sounding like an intuitive, but you do get a sense for someone in a way. So regardless of innocence or guilt, he is that sort of lone wolf person whose deep connection is really with Kathy. That's who's serving him in life. And if this is a codependent relationship, they don't get better for the person that's with their abuser. It only gets more abusive, more negative, and the stakes are higher. And yeah. So did you tip Alan a while ago, did you say? And then your other cousin told you that he was friends with your cousin. I'm taking it that maybe your cousin hasn't lived sort of a very good life or legal life. Is that what you're saying? Like he's probably a bit questionable. Oh, someone, what's that? Shauna Burnip says, I'm just now starting at the beginning. It's so funny that you mentioned Unsolved Crimes Uncovered. I just got into with her, just got something into her community post of the sketches she posted today. I had seen Shauna, is it Shauna or Shona? You spelled it Shauna. I had seen that she's posted Elvis's and then this other picture and then put up that picture of BH with the EF in the car. Look, a lot of us can't make up our mind what is happening, and I'm definitely not saying that BH is, that I know him to be a very good person. I don't believe Patrick Westphal about, well, he was going to a Christian church, and so I told him to sod off. But let me just tell you something about how people used to still, what's the word when you convert people? Recruit them, convert them, is they would go into Christian churches and they would convert them over to paganism. Maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know. I think, you know, you don't get the whole truth from people like Patrick. And Brad himself had said, is it a Gothi? Gothi? I forget all the things that I put in videos in the past. But But he said that no, he wanted to be a traveling Gothi because he didn't think there was enough recruiting going on. It was just all too closed, and he wanted to go out and spread the word and talk to people about it and create new chapters of their religion. So they talk to your cousin, and he's a horrible human being, and he's friends with Rick Allen. I think people that say, Tom Webster brings it up very well, and, I definitely agree and have thought about this ever since Rick Allen was arrested and we were told that he did speak to someone. You think, well, you never spoke up again. It really is worthwhile listening to Tom Webster's videos because he does explain it in a good way because he's got that patience and logic just to talk you through it. But yeah, Rick Allen, he never said, hold on, well, I want to make sure you know exactly what you're talking about. It sounds like you're a bit concerned or confused about cars and parking, etc. He never came forward again. He never spoke to anybody again. And I think that's so telling. Nobody knew. He wasn't talking to friends or anything, friends about, yeah, hey, I was on the trail. So they're saying, what about that Rick Allen? It was all, he just never opened his mouth again. Sounds like not there yet. Sounds like you might be interested in ley lines. Don't know what I called my video. It was pilot wheel or something. But yeah, a lot of these cases are connected on the Serpent line and the Arcadian line, all pinpointed from Pilot Mountain, near where Summer Wells went missing. Energies. See, I'm woo-woo, aren't I? Ooh, have to keep that under wraps. Sorry, just could never really read all of this. Yeah, but anyway, I guess, it sounds like I don't have a point, or, but I do have a point. Hopefully it's clear that I'm just trying to talk about what goes on here, what different types of creators we get. Try and think about who is the person presenting this information. What are they presenting to me? What do they want me to do with this? What do they want me to believe? What evidence are they showing? Is this just something that they've thought of as a good idea, or why are they presenting it as an idea? Is it just for discussion? Am I supposed to just take this and run with it? What is their goal? Just to have a little bit more thought and consideration about things, because people aren't what they seem on here, and they have all sorts of motivations, and sometimes I just despair with people that, it is entertainment, okay, it is, I guess, but I hate the using of things as, entertainment and lasciviousness and just cruelty, stupidity, titillation, and the sadism that is here. Mark my words. Machiavellianism, sadism, psychopathy. Okay? This exists. And this is what exists in some creators. And don't get infected by it. Don't be their little tools. Don't be their, as I said the other day, you're sitting there with their hands up your asshole, working your little mouths. I just can't stand it. And this is, I guess I've just sort of put myself in this role in the same way that, Cold Truth's put herself in a role. Yeah, where you just feel like, you just, it's, you feel like you're just pushing shit uphill. You're never going to get there, right? But you just feel like you have to keep fighting the fight. And every time you see something, no, 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 even though you're not reaching the same audience with that information as that misinformation is reaching. Cold Truth says, Tom Webster is great, and that was a great point he made. And the one about not coming forward after the 2019 presser when they wanted to know who parked at the old CPS building. Oh, remember, at the farm insurance building. Another thing that people they just really can't seem to grasp or don't want to understand because it's boring. That's not titillating. They don't want to understand science, research, human nature. It is so more likely that 5 different people saw the same vehicle and described it in a different way than 5 different people saw a different vehicle and described each vehicle fucking perfectly. We know they don't describe people perfectly. We know we don't describe vehicles perfectly. Someone tell me now what colors I've got on my sofa or whatever, well, maybe not a good example, but, human nature, that's science. It's science that we can expect that every single person that might have seen the same car, could be different cars, might have seen the same car at different they're just going to say, oh, it was a purple Cruiser, it was a black Ford. They do look similar. You're looking at light, shadow, the sun. Those purple Cruisers, they're not bright purple from what I have seen. They could look very dark. You'd have to see them in the sunlight reflecting the ducko purple because it looks like it's some sort of special paint that is reflective with light on it. It's not like a big solid bright purple. Am I making sense? And the shape is actually, it's kind of similar. I wouldn't know. I mean, I might be able to name some classic cars if I saw a classic car, or I could say a Nissan versus, a Subaru or, whatever. But coming down to a model and a make and trying to describe the tires, I mean, I'm not saying chicks aren't good at this, but was it mostly women describing this vehicle as well? But I accept there are some very weird, strange things I want answers to. It's not like I'm saying this is so cut and dried, but we need to remember that just because things are happening around, it's not all connected. And yeah. And there are some very strange people there, and there are people that are doing the wrong thing, and politicians that are corrupt, and oh gosh. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean, I'm sure. You have the same feelings sometimes, I'm sure. We're all frustrated about it. We all, we don't know what to believe. Just because it might be something doesn't mean it is. I can't believe how big this cabal is that, there's thousands of people involved now. Wow, gee, the logistics of that, they're pretty well organized, aren't they? How are they all communicating? How are they all trusting each other? Oh, I don't know who Ray Andricchio is. Ivy Rose listening while grocery shopping. I have loved you going up on panels now, Ivy. I've been wishing you to do that for so long. I wish Ivy Rose would. I even said in another live on my last one, Oh, if anyone wants to know, I was saying I wish I could be more like Ivy Rose in comment sections because I'm trying to just counteract things, but I do it in such a way where I'm blocked in so many places, or I'm not as likable, and people do not like me piping up all the time, and I'm so aggressive about it, and I'm a bit more rude about it. But you have a really good way of just getting on with everyone, making sure that you're not alienating people and estranging yourself, so that you do have that power and ability to go in and just keep balancing things out. And well, actually, or was it that because I saw that, and just very nicely, politely correcting people. But I just feel like we just can't keep up with it. And this whole groundswell thing, it's not that there isn't some merit to maybe what people are saying about the corruption, but why the fuck do they have to come and get so deeply involved in what's happening with Rick Allen? You know, why is he shackled? No one else was shackled. Yes, they fucking were. Chadwell was shackled. Logan was shackled. Um, what's his face? They've all been shackled. They're all shackled on the legs. It's just Alan has a suicide smock on because he has said that he is going to self-harm. People have to wear a suicide smock. You can Google it. You'll find one. You'll see exactly what he's wearing. That's why he's in it. He's got extra security. Well, maybe they don't want someone to take a strike at his life, or I don't know. Oh no, but you have such a way with you, Ivy Rose. You're so respectful to people. You do it in such a way, and you really just have these conversations, and you know when to draw the line. You just let it go. And I wish I could be like that, but I've not. And I just go, stop spreading that shit. Why are you being a repeater? You know that's bullshit. Why do you say yeah. So, so it's really nice to see that you are actually now going up and having these amazing conversations with people. You've had a few good ones, even going on Ruckus Rocks and different types of people. Johnny's saying, I know there was a floral pattern on there. I think what have I got? I think there's a few blankets on there. No doll theories from anyone besides a psychic, right? And, they plant these seeds and they really take hold. They get a lot of traction because, they've got a lot of the repeaters and they get everywhere. And then people think that maybe they're looking at sources. Oh, that's you're usually saying it in your head. Yeah. It's so funny. It's like people can't accept that maybe Baldwin was really lax. I mean, I know with the legal profession, there's a certain way that things are sent. I know in the medical profession, there are ways that things are sent. It's just the bottom line that privacy and security is of the utmost for a law firm in 2023. I mean, I think Baldwin he's an eccentric person, and I think he does not pay these attention to details. He's not interested in operational things, and I think he's been very irresponsible probably for a long time. And I would be interested in other cases actually that he's operated, and perhaps how he's I don't know. I think he's got a team that are running along cleaning up after him like little bots, and I think in this instance they just haven't been able to do it. He's a runaway train, and I'm glad that he's out. He should not be back in. And Rossi, because of association, well, he shouldn't be back in either. It's it's funny, the light's doing funny things. I think I've got this lovely blue blanket, and it's got It's got deers on it. Look at that. It's just so sweet. And yeah, lots of colours. It's actually really warm here now. It's summer. I actually need to, I don't know why I've still got this stuff out. Deb, notice blue and rust-coloured pillows on top. Yeah, they're actually sort of a rosy pink, but yeah, I'll give you that because it looks like that when I go like that. But you know what I mean, right? Do you remember? You remember the group of people, they're on a stage, they're throwing a basketball, and you're told, watch the basketball. And there's a gorilla-suited man walking through. And then the people are asked, okay, so how many throws did they make? 17, 15, 16. Okay, and who saw the gorilla? This is human nature. You know, I don't think we should be expecting that every single person that saw a vehicle parked at the building. Now, I will say it is strange that was there one, wasn't there one at different times? But, yeah. And, you know, and how did he get back to his car? Who did see him? But if it wasn't the muddy person, then who was the muddy person? And why wouldn't the muddy person come forward? You'd think the muddy person would come forward. Oh, that was me. I've just been out duck shooting or fishing. My car broke down. You know, I put a call into the car people, or I can show you. I've got a tow later that day, or you know, who was that person then? I'd still like to, you know, we don't know enough. We don't know everything. We don't know where they were seen. Yeah. It's just, you know, we've got to, I don't want to begrudge anyone again, things that make them happy or, you know, with the psychics and things, right? But they can be so harmful. They do a lot of damage, and whether they think they're being honest or not, you know, but most of them aren't. Yeah, I mean, and Cold Truth made an exceptionally great point. If this was all true about the scene, you know, that's the thing. It was a very underbaked scene. It was an underbaked scene for a ritual. Okay, so people are saying the ritual happened elsewhere and now this is just the staging. But it was pretty underbaked, right? Some branches and some blood on a tree, which could have been from Libby leaning on the tree. Hello, darling. Come here. Hi. Hello. Oh. Oh. Hello. Oh. Hello. He'll sit here for about 3 seconds. My little old Odin Renee. Yes. We don't know enough. There's going to be so much more revealed in court. If you're someone that does follow trials, and I have watched some very lengthy trials, it blows your mind what you think you know and then what comes out in court. Wow. I won't say what it was about, but I saw the results of it. I've seen the video. I did put a tip into the FBI about Laurie Vallow, Chad Daybell case, and about someone else who is involved in something. And, you know, you can think you know so much. It was so fascinating to see what came out in court, what the investigation showed, you know, what they were able to get, when they were able to get all the records. And you can't be comfy there, darling. You can't be comfy. Oh, say bye-bye. Good boy. Oh, there we go. I certainly wasn't comfortable. That's my dog. So Mel just watched a documentary about the backpack killer. He covered his victims in branches in a pyramid. You know, okay, so it sort of seemed like a frame was being put over the girls' bodies, building it up. I think he could well have been going to just cover them up so that, just the sort of delay being found. I think he was very likely disturbed, probably by, yeah, L. Who knows? We don't, yeah. It's witchcraft. It was the castings, right? But he could have been stacking up branches on top of them, starting with leaves, hoping to delay them being found, hoping not to have to come forward and say that he was there. And he was disturbed either by 311, at 311, Derek calling Libby's phone. Libby's phone would have been ringing if it wasn't on silent. And 3:14, he called again, probably when he had pulled into the mayor's lot, I guess, because at 3:11, Derek was going over the Wilson Bridge. So imagine if you're there with these girls' bodies and you're trying to cover them up, and then the phone's ringing, and maybe you can't locate it, or you've already started covering Abby. Imagine this. You started covering the girls. Now all these branches are down on the girls. You've started with leaves, and a phone starts ringing. Are you going to just take all the branches off to look for the phone? No. Do you keep trying to cover up a bit more? The phone rings again. I mean, if he managed to nerve it out past that, he probably was then disturbed by Cheyenne and her friend crossing the bridge. I just hope this is all revealed. We all want to know, and we all want to know for the girls in a way. I want them to be at rest. I don't want people talking about them as if, they're talking to me. It's so disrespectful. So just watch out for people, okay? They're very sly. TCD, when she first came on, I thought, oh, okay, what's this? I think I even shared one of her videos. But, pretty, in the comment section, though, I'd said, oh, but I don't know, do you really think that? And I was being quite polite because she hadn't gone over that line, right? And we had a little bit of a discourse and everything, but I was thinking, that's odd. And, bam, pretty soon, within 3 or 4 videos, they reveal themselves. People reveal themselves. People show you who they are. Now, it might take a couple of months. It might take 14 videos. It could take 1 video. But they're sly. They get a bit of traction first, and the reality of who they are comes out. And, True Crime Deranged, she is unhinged. She's fucking evil. And what it is, she's Machiavellian. And look how she's moved on with Idaho 4 and what she got. I don't know what she's got, but I think she's got half, again, half the female students there in some sort of drug dealing mafia. We've got people calling DM, let's just say DM, saying that she is a transsexual and that she's in on it. We've got all sorts of stories here, right? Guess who's leading that? Leading a lot of the shit with Idaho 4. TCD, her numbers have gone up. She's very smart, very Machiavellian, very manipulative. They keep their production values high. They know how to throw in things to be so convincing. But, this is what I'm saying. What out of these things that I talked about at the start of the video, what is actually being presented to you and why? Is this just someone, sure, make your videos. Geez, if I had funds to make a setup and if I had the know-how, maybe I would get StreamYard and set up. I would love to, I'm always doing things like this. I'm drawing things for you. I'd love to be able to bring something up on screen, have things ready for you. That would be kinder. That would be more thoughtful. It would make it easier for you. Instead, I'm just always trying to describe things, but I don't want to, because I don't want to say to you, I'm promising something. I don't want to feel like I'm going to let you down when I don't do it. We know how sporadic and random I am, so that's why I just do this. But, by all means, people can be creative. They create beautiful things, interesting videos, high production values. They've got editing skills. They can use that for bad. They could use that for good or bad. We don't even have reliable MSM anymore. They're just wanting to get in on onto this sort of the online bandwagon, because of course no one's watching TV anymore and no one's buying a paper. So their journalistic standards have gone downhill as well. Look at what Bam Bam Banfield's up to all the time now, right? So, it's appalling. And Baldwin's appeal for, come on, journalists, be journalists. Is that really what he's asking? Do you not think, with the worldwide stage that this case has gone, and if you think for a minute that, it's investigative journalists could win a Pulitzer Prize if they just revealed all of these conspiracy theories to be true, right? They're not interested. We've got Down the Hill, good old Ron. We've got, that's who's making videos. Henderson, and their little discussions with Julie Melvin. Julie Melvin, who I fucking knew was Joe Lewis's source. Remember the voice that he revealed? And then, and I wish I had had the technology, but good old Gray Hughes, whatever people think of him, he, good on him. And he put it through his mixer and he took that pitch down, and yeah, that is Julie. But I actually made a video before he did that. I said, I think I know who this person is. It's Julie Melvin. You just know the things that she says, how she talks. That's one sly person. You did a cooking thing the other day, Johnny. How did that turn out? Your stuffed shells. And then you went and put what we call little boys, those Cheerio sausages in there out of a can. I thought, I don't know if I'd do that. But you do different things. Her agenda in every case is the same and very telling as to her motives. Disturbing, and the families don't deserve the likes of her. They fucking don't. Yeah, that was priceless, right? And she took her channel down for a while. But, she's got more front than Myers, as we say here. Maya being a department store with very large buildings. Yeah, she's sick. And, they go through these creators, people that are just coming in that are interested, that have more of a bit of an open mind, because that's their show, they look at a bit of the woo, they look at all the angles. So now she's, at the moment she's working on Teresa from Criminality, talking to her a lot. She'll be just infecting her with a lot of false information as if she's a really good source. Did he have a paper plate? Yeah, wolf in sheep's clothing. Mel, oh man. So she's being sued. I think I missed that before. That's what you were saying? I'm not surprised. She's an absolute liar. She's a liar. She's a mover and shaker. She's a manipulator. She's got her own motives. She's got her own beliefs. And, and this is the thing. People can be very slick, present, and because she's a person that she's got an education. I mean, some nurses that I know are the craziest people I know, I will tell you that. But, she's got an education. She speaks well. She's well placed there to know a lot about the area. She's got some very strange connections. She babysat Josh Ayres and all of that, right? But it doesn't mean that she's got good intentions, a good heart. Johnny, is that a Sunbeam 7-litre slow cooker that you've got? I've got the same one. It looks exactly like the same one. Maybe the brand isn't called Sunbeam. Anyway. Yeah, she knows all of Delphi. She knows fucking everything. I have warned Teresa, but Teresa's gonna do her thing. So, but what a snake. She is such a snake. And it's such a shame, right? I don't feel good about, okay, I'm kind of highlighting one creator now. The Psychic Sleuth, this was the name of her channel, The Psychic Sleuth. Now she's a little bit, she's savvied onto it, and she looks up to true crime design. I gave her it wasn't meant as a compliment, and she took it as such. Yeah. When I said, oh, yeah, you and her, peas in a pod. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to do this. I don't want to do this. But she's the perfect example of what to look out for, how people operate, how slick and sly they are. And, just look at people's connections. I mean, look, Steve's gone on. She interviewed Steve very early on. Steve, True Crime Web. That's a shame. I hope he keeps his distance. There's a lot of other people he's connected with as well that you just think, do you know who these people really are? There's a lot of grifters. They come across as very genuine. People really like them. You're such an amazing advocate. You're so amazing. But they are fucking sick in the head. Yeah. Oh, is this the live with Julie? And did she have someone else on with it? I really should. Do you listen to everything on 2.0 Cold Truth? Because I do, because I'm such a consumer. I need to go through it. I need to know what people are saying, and but yeah. I will go and finish listening to that. I listened to a bit of it, but I just find it so sickening. And I kind of pretty much know. I mean, she comes out with new stuff, but don't you feel like you just pretty much know everything that she could ever say? Yeah. Oh, she is so traumatized. She's so traumatized for being kicked out. I mean, I just had my phone. I didn't realize it was on. Bullshit. She has filmed things before, and she was going to film that again. Of course she was thrown out, right? Skip. I remember a year or so ago, what did I say? Yeah, oh God. I've left so many of these people behind. I can't bear. I'm so glad they sort of disappear from the landscape for a while. Isn't it interesting when they reappear who they are with? And Skip is a creep. Yeah, I remember thinking Skip is a creep. Like he's very untrustworthy. He manipulates information. All these people, they want attention. They want narcissistic supply. Don't be their little batteries, People, don't be their batteries. Christopher says Johnny's got a George Foreman grill. Well, let's see you do a steak or something next, Johnny. Oh, we call it a crock pot. We call crock pots, what we call crock pots are What we call a crock pot's more something like that you put in the oven, but I guess that's an electric crock pot. But we just call those slow cookers. Yeah, but he was on True Crime Garage, spreading his BS, and with Kristen of the Crime Door. She gives me the willies. She reckons her birthday is Halloween. I doubt it very much. But anyway, no, she's a... You can... Johnny's Easy Bake Oven broke a while back. Okay. See how much people know about you and your cooking, JK? Yeah. Yeah, God, it's really sad and really infuriating and how convoluted things are. And then when people come in fresh and do you know what? You guys must feel like this. You see a comment and you go, I know where you've been. Sometimes I'm just at the point now where I go, I know whose ass you're up. I know who your cult leader is. I'll quite often say, they just show themselves, expose themselves, and then they'll go into other channels which aren't quite as chaotic and cruel because, they want to go to the regular channels and they're sort of saying things a little bit more mildly and they're not really telling their true feelings. And I just love to expose them. Oh, was that right, Erin? I know exactly what you were saying. That's not what you were saying about Becky Patty just yesterday. I'm such, yeah. What do you guys, yeah. It's just so bonkers. There's been so much said over the years, eh? Yeah. Not there yet, so she's going to work to back up her comments. It's always, we all have funny ideas about things. I think as long as we are really communicative about, okay, look, I've gotten this notion, this is all it is, but be careful before you talk about it. But I mean, I don't really want to be a hypocrite, you see, because I have speculated about things, but I try to base it in fact, right? And be quite clear about it. But, there's nothing wrong with speculation or having a belief, but you've really got to go, where have I got that from? Does it really fit? Is this rational? And see if you can just find a few things that support it, right? Does it pass some tests? And as I was saying earlier, go to other sources, but be very careful about the sources. This is the trouble, because often I've seen people cite sources of sources of sources that it's just repeaters. They've just seen creators actually replaying other people's things, and now that's their source. It's just all crap. We all have to walk our talk. I mean, particularly, shit. I need to do that more than others, maybe, because I do get on here and I'm a commentator. But at the same time, I fucking hate that people are they are very, very out there in the comment sections, but they've never made a fucking video. They're not putting themselves out there, and yeah, they're not honest about their agendas and their beliefs, and they're very manipulative. And yeah, some people have got just a lot of bones to pick, and that's why they get involved. Some people, a lot of people are just attracted to the mystery of things, right? But sadly, because that's exciting and interesting, they can get really caught up with people, people like, I have Apophis. And at first too, right? I thought, oh, this is someone that might have an interesting train of thought, because they're very careful. They do it on purpose. They don't reveal all, oh shit, by number whatever, two or three, I'm going, what have I, whoops. And see how things spread like wildfire. Yeah, so we've all got to walk our walk, but we all should be thinking about, what is this that I'm about to say here? Am I just repeating something? Did I go and check it elsewhere first? Or have I just hopped right into the next live and I am talking about the fucking farm insurance building, you crazy bitch? Oh my God. Can you not see that there is some private motive there that is not kosher? How can you not see that? Who in their right mind is getting something out of this, out of that? She hasn't backed it up with anything, and she hasn't asked the question. It's very clever if you are not paying attention, or if you're a bit naive, okay? But there are people around. Mel is one of them. Ivy Rose is one of them, people that have been around for long. We're old enough and ugly enough, as people say, is not about Mel, but I mean, the expression, old enough and ugly enough to know better. Well, we are old enough. We've been around. We've seen people operate. We've seen the arcs of channels enough. We've seen enough of them. We fucking know. And that's the bottom line. But, and yet we're talked about, yet I'm a troll apparently, okay? I don't appreciate trolls on my channel. Well, you're the fucking troll and they fucking know it. Don't be fooled, okay? Anyway, that big, beautiful lump of dog that I had here with me a little while ago. I might go and take him for a little spin around the block. Because he's been very, very patient with his mummy while I've been here with you guys. So, that's nice. Cold Truth sub to Johnny. Johnny has a few interesting views about true crime, don't you, Johnny? But Johnny, is a very respectful person. He goes to a lot of channels who do all different commentary, Alex Erickson and a lot of different true crime channels, right? And no matter what he believes about things, he's got questions about the picture of Abby on the bridge and the Snapchat photo or whatever, right? I hope you don't mind me saying, Johnny, but is always so respectful everywhere he goes. He's never pushing his whatevers. He's not one of these repeaters that will go into the channel and push. He's always very respectful, very, takes part, contributes. I can't tell you how great it is when people take part and contribute. This just it's so nice. They attack your looks. 0 forks given. Yeah, 0 forks given. But, I think that, yeah, it's hard sometimes. Some creators are trying to do good. They really want to get to the bottom of things and they're passionate. At the same time, they're holding on to some pretty nasty shit. And not all of their subscribers realize how dark they get. And there you go, Johnny. You've got another one. You've got Deb. So, Johnny, you're going to have to do a music live soon and just sing some songs for the ladies. Johnny's channel's very laid back. Yeah. Yeah, I think sit back and observe for a while. This is what I've learned is, I have thought, wow, this is great. This person's interesting. Look at the and I've been sucked in and I know better now. And it's not that I'm trying, it's not to try and be really judgmental and who are you? to everyone, but it is just take your time. Just watch, just listen, see who they're connecting with. Try and look if try and look and see if they do what history they do have, but it's when people are changing their name and rebranding, this should be a red flag. It should be a red flag, right? And I'm not just saying where I've added, like, say, if I added Humanimal's true crime or something like that, to go from the psychic sleuth to unsolved crimes uncovered. That's a very clear, very thought out change. And to take a certain trajectory and to start presenting cases in the way that she is. There is motive behind that, and it's all about what she gains, what this person gains. She's not doing it for the case. She's not doing it for the girls, all the people that talk about the girls. I try not to be, so I don't want to be insincere like that, right? So, yeah. Anywho, so that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for anyone who's listened, and thank you for anyone who takes anything that I've said on board and starts reflecting on the content that they're getting, reflecting on the people that they're following, exalting, the people that they're promoting to others in other videos and everything, and why. I think just take time, reflect on what you're seeing. What are they doing? How are they making you feel? I'll say to you, go to the unraveling and watch their groundswell video and tell me, how are they trying to make you feel? Is it all about your feeling? It's very moving. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for moderating. You're doing an amazing moderating job. He did that to Anna and Cheyenne as well. Who did what? Someone's done something. Yes, Cold Truth is fucking gorgeous. She's too cute. Thank you, Mark, for moderating. It does make it easier to have a mod here. It's just like a nice little, but we need to be careful because we don't want to be part of the problem. We don't want to be part of that problem. And oops, it's too late. I have propagated that. I've propagated that propaganda. Tell me what you feel about the groundswell video and how the unraveling have presented it. Could they have made a video in a different way that came across as just more informative? Or did they have to go 100 out of 100 for rousing, emotional? There's people saying, oh, this has got me in tears. Oh, okay. Well, look, that's great to do that, but it's so manipulative. It's manipulative for a reason. They want you on board with just them, okay? Just them. So their heroes are people like Bob Motta from Defense Diaries because he's just so fucking overblown and, immature in his presentation, really, of everything. On one hand, yes, he's a defense lawyer. He's going to defend defense lawyers. That's what they do. They're not allowed to sort of come down on the other, but there's a way around it. Would you see Scott Reich from Crime Talk talking the way that Bob Motta does about Baldwin and Rosie? No. So, yeah, let's try and think. Are you being given information? Is this objective? Or are you being manipulated? Are things being presented to you in a way which are breaking down your walls and manipulating your emotions so that what's now presented to you, you really get on board with? Maybe if you thought about it in a different way or later, you might go, oh, Yes, this, but not that. Why do people want you to take you along in this huge journey, going boots and all in, okay, with what they're saying? Think of where it leads. Where do you know do you know the other channels those people are behind and what they've said about the families and who's involved and everything like that? Do you really know who you're with? Okay, you probably don't. That might be why you think that they're, unalived, yeah, and all of that. No, there's none of that here. Yeah, I know, you just can't. And then, okay, he's worried about his algorithm. He's just acting like a dick. The more that people that, they play into that, well, the more you have to do it. And we shouldn't fuck with language. This is when I was talking earlier about what made me hard line about something, it's people fucking with our language, fucking with truth and fact. And I don't appreciate it. And unalived is fucking degrading and it's insulting and it's disrespectful and it's so many things, isn't it? Oh, Bob Motta is the Defense Diaries. There's a lot of them. I didn't used to like the podcasters, but I have to say, that chappie from the prosecution podcasters or whatever, Allison, what's his name? He's been very measured, and I've been quite impressed. It is so demeaning, cold truth. And then that's what they care about because they won't be monetized. Who cares? You've got Patreon, people can buy you a coffee. What do you care about your AdSense? Now, okay, if you're a channel that you buy a lot of FOIA information and things like that, that's a lot of money. It's like Tom Webster has invested thousands of dollars, fair enough, but be just fucking upfront about it and say, this is the way it is. I'm not going to say unalived, so I've got these things set up. So if you can support me, I would really appreciate it. The hell with AdSense, you know, Alison Brett. Yeah, Brett, that's it. Um, I I think I'm blocked. I mean, just blocked everywhere because I get so involved in all these other cases. I follow the Ramses case. I've made a playlist on John Bonet, McCann's, etc., etc. And I think it was on. I was so frustrated with Brett and Alice because when they were podcasting, there's 18 minutes of preamble, then they have a word from the sponsor, and then they stop for ads, and then they have a sponsor, and it's just very low on content, and it was very soft, and but I think now that they're sort of more just basically recording straight on YouTube or something, I don't know. They've improved a lot, but I think I went a bit hard at them about the Ramses. Yeah, John and Patsy. So I think I'm blocked. So now I can't go and tell them. But Alex Erickson, recently she got lost her monetization for a while, and she had $2,000 worth of AdSense waiting to be paid out. I don't know what time period that's over, maybe a month or something. It's a lot, right? But what I really resent now is when you go on, you have to watch 30 seconds of ads before content even plays, and it could be a live, or people they've got a sponsor. They're doing a Hello Fresh and they've still got monetized at. They should just turn it off, do one or the other. You know, I will gladly sit through someone doing a nice little sell of something. Good on you for having a sponsor. But if you've got ad and ad and ad again, then I think, you know what, fuck you. Yeah, find sponsors with true crime that are comfortable with true crime, and the proper terms. Yeah, do you know what? People could actually go seek and find, and they probably would. Isn't this cute? It's so cute. Johnny's getting some subs. That's so cute. Johnny's always been a good supporter here. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but it's all right. See, like, no, I'm not, yeah. I mean, I don't see eye to eye with anyone. Not on everything. And probably people probably think I do a lot of questionable things. I have my reasons. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. But hopefully, we can help others recognize. It's just that people don't like to be told, though, right? Because this is what I'm trying to explain. They've got their tribe, it's their people. They feel like they are connected, and it's very insulting. It's hard. You are eroding their sense of self and who they are. It's like it's very tough for them to see or to hear that who they might be hooked up with isn't a good person, because then what does that do? That says that, well, am I not a good person, and is my judgment bad? Well, a lot of people fucking are. They are bad, actually. They're not good people, and they don't care. They're quite nasty. And yeah, Dr. Todd Grant, I used to follow him many, many years ago, a lot. And then I think he's changed quite a lot, but he's very good. But there's Dr. G Explains as well. Has anyone linked into him? Dr. G Explains. He's very good. And then Dr. Van der Vark. Andrew Van der Vark is a forensic psychologist, and he is, well, number one, he's a top spunk in his own, in a very particular way. And but he's brilliant. And then recently I got introduced to the Deception Detective, but I'm a little bit on him. Yeah. But Dr. Grant, yeah, no. I mean, I used to like how he presented things in the past. I think now he goes a little bit too much, I mean, he's in the algorithm, and he's feeding the pop culture, isn't he, I guess. But yeah, there's someone for everyone. No, well, you want to listen to other views not there yet, and and just try and take it all in and just see what sits for you. Sometimes it really sparks something. Sometimes it makes you furious. Most of the time things are making me angry, but you need to. But I think we have to be careful what we go and repeat, and just really slow it down. But it was so quick. This whole farm insurance fuckery was so quick, and it's bigger than the original. This is the problem. And then the truth, or the, it's all going to be, and and they move to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Yeah. And it's so tiring. It's so exhausting to feel like, it's like, I don't want to say, yeah, I'm the fucking true crime police, but we need to, the good actors, the well-meaning actors, let's call them, did I decide well-meaning versus manipulative? We need to try and keep educating for better information literacy. We need to block the lies, we need to block the propaganda, and we need to highlight verified fact. And we need to be as relentless with this as the bad actors, the manipulative actors, the sadists, the control freaks, the narcissists. We need to be as strong as them, as forceful and as consistent and as relentless as them in the information landscape. And that's very hard. It's hard to do, and it's exhausting, but we must do it, And these manipulative actors, they just don't care. They might not care. It's some means to an end. Or maybe they don't realize the bad they're doing. maybe they don't realize, or they don't see it as so harmful, or they think, whatever, what business is it of yours, you know? But they are doing harm, and some of them are sadistic, and some of them are cruel. Cyberbullies and trolls are narcissistic, sadistic. I made a video on that too because I was being bullied on here about the Morph UK. So I just made a video about who these people are. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. It's 2 hours and 54 minutes. Wow. We think Johnny's probably going to go off, and I'm going to try to find these things and see. Yeah, I will try and listen to what Julie Melvin did say on criminality. I feel like I could probably say it, and I know her and Rick Snay are fucking lying about information going everywhere, right? And who's sharing with who, and who's giving things to TCD and who's giving things to others. It's pretty obvious. I'd say Greeno gave the crime scene photos to Zav. Nobody sending out leaks is sending anything to fucking Tiffany, and we can only imagine she's seen them because Anthony Greeno has sent them out. That was very naughty. She's just not been in the picture, but she's come in now into Delphi. I guess maybe she made some videos about it a very long time ago, but it's never been her bag. Thank you so much, Mel. I'm so thankful for everyone that's been here. It's so nice to have people come in and just interact, because this is hard, right? We know this is hard. And yeah, the people that go live or even try to record a video and make a video, this is really difficult. And even after this time that I've been doing it, I know I'm not good at it. I'm never saying I am. And that's why I never will try and go, even though it might be nice to try and monetize and have membership and have structure, so maybe I could buy some equipment and make good videos and present really well. I don't want to do it because I don't want to make promises I can't keep. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to be beholden, and I don't want to corrupt myself. I don't want to allow myself to become corrupted. I want to always be authentic and true to me. It is hard, right? And that's all I can be. But I 100% support people who monetize and make money. And when I can, I just randomly, I'm not a member anywhere. I did try that at some stage, and then I found that it wasn't secure. Anyway, things happened, so I don't do that anymore, but I do donate, and I'm 100% supporting people that do. It's just not for me, because, I don't want to become corrupted, and I don't want to let people down, and I don't want to have people expect something from me that I can't give, or anything like that, because I just can't give that. I don't know what that says about me as a person, that I have that, but it's just a boundary that I have to have. But anyway, it was a channel, but you didn't catch the rest of it. Is it something that I said? Do you want a channel? Oh, Andrew, I have linked him in my community page before. I just can't remember his name. Andrew Van der Vark or something. Van der Vaark, possibly, but I could have that completely wrong. But definitely on my community page, I have, because I share people's videos all the time. Okay, not all the time. Oh, yes, all the time. And definitely scrolling through I do put a bit of crap on there too. Sorry. I get a bit cuckoo sometimes on there. But yeah, Van der Vark, he's so interesting. Oh, he just has such a way of seeing things. Not everyone agrees with it, but yeah, I think he's a genius, but I could be wrong. Yeah, and Johnny's just winging it, and you're no pro, and you just want to do your thing and come on when you want to come on and post something when you want to post it, right? And that's what I do too. I'm just so fortunate and grateful that I've got the subs that I do. And yeah, it's just unbelievable, really. Yeah. But I appreciate it. I don't say that enough. Anyway, I'm going to fuck off. It's 2 hours and 59 minutes. So I'm just going to push the button. Otherwise, I just prattle on forever. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see everyone, people that are here often, people that are here first time, maybe a couple of times. It's so nice to see Deb and Mel, Ivy, Johnny, of course, Mark, of course, not there yet, Brenda, if I haven't said you. Anyway, thank you. Bye.